as some of you have heard, one of my dives about a month or so ago went kind of wrong, sideways. It was the second dive of the trip. And I'm going to walk you through the video here that I've got. I used the Pompano Dive Center. It's the first time in a very long time I've used their boat. Very professional, very awesome. Love them to death, and I'll definitely be back again. We had a really good time. There's a whole bunch of people there. As you can see, we're on deck getting ready to hit the water, all geared up. Got my mask, getting some other people's mask. Essentially what happens is once I hit the water, I grab hold of the line. Now, we'd done the first dive earlier, which, where the heck are we? Oh, this is on the Lady Luck. The first dive went really well. And this is our second dive. I'm diving with 28% nitrox. I don't know how many of you actually know what that means, but for those of you who do. And there I go. I hit the water. Now, what happened is during our surface interval, the current picked up. And you can see me holding on to the descent line there, working my way towards the mooring ball. And directly below the mooring ball, you'll see some divers hanging on the line there. We had some tech divers on board that were doing a deco stop there. They'd done about a 2-hour dive, and they were doing a deco stop there. And that's where I ran into trouble, is when I got to the tech divers. The two guys that were with me are right behind me, like the intelligent people they are. Once they got down to the same spot where I lost the line, they went around the upstream side, so they never got blown off of the line like I did. You can see the tech divers there, the bubbles coming up, headed towards the Lady Luck. Looking forward to it. We were going to swim forward on the Lady Luck, get to see some of the scenery and some of the cool stuff on the front deck there. And right about there, you can see the tech divers sitting there on their deco stop. And right in there, there's my hand. I let go of the line, thinking I was going to just swim around them real quick. I figured once I drop below them, I can give a couple of kicks and back up to the line. One of the tech divers, once I got back on the boat, said that, kind of jokingly, he said the last thing he saw of me was I was fading off slowly into the distance. And that's essentially what I'm doing here. There's the surface, then the sun. And here in just a moment, there's the line that I'm supposed to be on. There's the tech divers at their deco stop, and those were the people I was supposed to be diving with. But at this point, I'm kicking, trying to get back to the line. Not having any luck. There's a barracuda checking things out, wondering if he's going to have a snack or a lunch. Probably not, but you never know what barracudas are thinking. So anyway, my descent's going smoothly. I'm keeping myself oriented. I know which way the line is. I know which way the wreck is. I'm keeping myself oriented to where I should be going. My thought is as I drop a little bit deeper, I'll keep pushing towards the wreck. And I thought once I hit the bottom, I could, some of the features, especially the wreck not too far off, would break the current up for me, and I'd be able to get my way there. There's the line that I'm supposed to be on as it sort of fades off into the distance. Here in a few minutes, I do get a shot. I think once I hit the bottom, I get a shot of my computer, and you can see the depth and my NDL, the no decompression limit. That's the really important number. That's how long I can stay where I'm at without having. There's the line again, and the divers that I'm supposed to be with, sort of wondering where I'm going. I'm doing a drift dive at this point. It's a solo drift dive. Just kind of wondering what else I'm going to see as I go down. But anyway, the no decompression limit is the amount of time that I can stay at that depth without having to go through decompression stages. Since I'm not geared up and not ready for a deco dive, which, as a dive master, I shouldn't be doing those anyway because I don't have the tech gear and stuff, the training for it. But at any rate, that's how long I can be down there, and you'll see that here in just a few minutes once I get around the bottom of the ocean. In a minute, we're going to see the bottom coming into view. Doing a nice leisurely drop. I'm not kicking. I'm not swimming down. There's the bottom. That's the bottom of the ocean down there. At this point, I'm not sure how far off the wreck I am. It's beyond my vision, so I know which direction it's in, because like I said, I was putting forth a conscious effort to keep my orientation. However, I'm also very aware that I might have gotten turned around and that my orientation may be not correct. And there's the bottom, right about in there. I'm probably about 120 feet, 122 feet maybe, somewhere right around in there. And I'm continuing my descent. And now I'm using the bottom as an orientation, making sure that I know which direction I'm facing in. And the bottom's coming up closer, and closer, get closer. All the different options are going through my head right now. I'm trying to think, all right, what are the decisions that I need to make? What are the consequences of those decisions? What would be the best course of action? So my plan right now is to hit the bottom, take a look at my deco, or my computer. There's a computer, and you can see 133 feet flashing. My deco, my NDL limit at that point was 4 minutes, I believe. But the wreck should be in that direction. Kind of evaluating the current, thinking, all right, well, I got about a minute that I can go towards the wreck. And if I get the wreck in sight, then my plan is to go ahead and get to the wreck, get up onto the deck, and just kind of go from there. This is all the bottom, swimming towards what I believe to be the wreck. And even after I came to the surface, I found myself still oriented in the direction that I should have been. So at this point, I'm thinking that the wreck is that direction, but now I know that the wreck was in that direction. I was just further than I thought. Now along in here somewhere, I was also narked. I was feeling that euphoric feeling going, yeah, this is really kind of cool. So here I am taking a look around again, just sort of checking out the scenery to see if I can see anything. I still can't see anything. Decision process going through my head is I could be a headline and a statistic if I make the wrong decision, knowing that I'm narked, knowing that I may have been blown off course and not be where I think I am. Things could get real serious real quick. But I was trying to enjoy the moment with the narc feeling, and thought, all right, I'll try just a little bit further before I call the dive. Trying to swim just a little bit further. We give it about 1 minute. In our training, we go about 1 minute to see if we can find out where we're at, see if we can find our buddies, see if we can reorientate ourselves. After about a minute, I'm not seeing what I should be seeing. I got 5 minutes NDL right there. I'm at 131 feet. And at that point, the decision has to be made. Either I ascend, I do a CISA, or I become a memorial on a wreck somewhere. So I kind of made the decision that maybe it was time to go. Right around in here somewhere, you should see me ascending, starting my ascent. I think I planted my knees in the sand right there to kind of think the problem through. Oh, and I just saw that. I didn't even see that mask there when I was down there. If I'd have seen it, I should have grabbed it. Huh. Who knows how long it's been down there? It's probably been down there for a couple hundred years. That might be Jacques Cousteau's original mask. We don't know. And now, we'll never know, because I didn't retrieve it. All right, checking my computer, 122 feet. I got 5 minutes NDL, checking on the... I'll put a freeze frame on that, and I'll come back and talk about it just a little bit. But on the on the left-hand side, there's a small gauge that tells me my ascent rate. And I don't want to ascend too fast or I'll get bent, and I don't want to get bent. And right there you can see my max depth was 134 feet. My bottom time was 7 minutes. And it was pretty cool. I enjoyed the little bit of a dive that I had, but as you can see, the bottom's starting to fade away. At one point in time, I did start ascending a little too fast, and my computer will beep at me when that happens. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the video or not, but checking my computer again, you can see the ascent rate on the left side of the gauge there as it goes up and down. It gets a little too high. I slow down my ascent. You can see right there, I came almost to a complete stop. Continuing my ascent. And you still see the bottom there, but you can see my fin anyway picture there. And that's me going, bye. Call the dive. It's the day. Still had 2 dives planned in that afternoon, so it was all good. I just was kind of sad that I had to bring that dive to an end, but it was the best decision to make. Otherwise, this video would not be getting made. It would be, on the 6 o'clock news. I guess that's one way to get famous, but there are other ways. I prefer other ways of being famous. So here we are. Let's see, the time that I'm seeing is about 10 minutes into the dive. I'm doing my CISA, my controlled emergency surface ascent. And you can see some bubbles as my camera. The pictures really aren't the highest priority right now. I'm just kind of, wandering around, checking above me, making sure I'm not swimming into anything, checking to see if I see anything like a descent line, mooring line, boats, other divers, anything along that lines. Just checking around. Should be checking my gauges here again. I'll keep consulting my computer to make sure that I'm not ascending too fast. Any minute now I'm going to pop to the surface. Right now I'm closing in on about 11 minutes on the video. Probably 10 minutes of that was the actual dive. But it was a great trip. I've got nothing but respect for the Pompano Dive Center. They did a really great job. Once they got the report that they had a diver missing, they cut loose. And there's my computer again. 55 feet ascending. 67 meters. I did blow by. I got 2 safety stops on my computer. Anytime I drop at a reasonable depth, I'm not sure exactly what it is right now, I have to check. But I got 2 safety stops that I do. I do one at 50 feet, and I do, and you see red light blinking there. Slow down, you goofball. Since it's too fast, so I have to let a little air out of my BC and slow my ascent. But anyway, I've got 2 safety stops programmed in my computer, one at 50 feet and then the other one at 15 feet. The one at 15 feet is pretty standard for all divers, but anytime I drop below I think I've got it set for 80 feet on this. Anytime I drop below 80 feet, I have that 5-minute safety stop at 50 feet just as an extra measure. The one thing that you can never be when you're at depths like that is too safe. So better safe than sorry. Yep, I blew past 1 there and it's telling me to slow down, and there's the surface. But anyway, the dive boat, as soon as they got the report they had a diver blown off the line, they got the rest of their divers in the water, they cut loose from the mooring and they came looking for me. And there you see those sexy legs pedaling away there. It's like almost a bike. I hit the surface and it was dawned on me. It's like, I need to put air in my BC. So any minute now you're going to see the boat come in and fish me out of the water, so to speak. But they did a really good job. I've got a lot of respect for those folks. Their dive masters are great. The boat skippers great. They just did a great, awesome trip. I just made a bad decision and tried to go around the tech divers on the wrong side, and that's a lesson that we have to learn sometimes. So anyway, I should be popping out of the water any second now. I'll be back on the boat. I thought I brought the camera up and got a picture of the boat as they come rushing towards me. He kept yelling out, "Rocky, are you okay?" I gave him the okay signal, and then I'm not sure, because there's the boat. There's the bottom of the boat. But because I did have to do a CISA, I was a little concerned that I might start blowing some bubbles. Not interested in doing that because that's never a good thing. So there he's waiting for me to hand my fins up to him so that I can get aboard the boat. But yeah, so even after I got on board, like I said, I was breathing 28% nitrox. So even after I got on board the boat, I stayed on my regulator for just a little while to kind of give me the extra oxygen, just to make sure, and sort of like doing a self-check and everything. Everything seemed to be doing well. Didn't have any aches and pains, anything that didn't feel out of the ordinary. Just concerned that I was being stupid. And all's well that ends well. There's the boat. There's the crew. And I'll be getting out of the water any minute now. So anyway, that was my near-death dive experience. And it wasn't really as traumatic as it sounds, but it could have ended really badly. Decision-making process had to be thoroughly thought through. I had to be very aware of the situation, circumstances, and the consequences. And, doing what I do, it's got risk. Everybody has risk. If there's no risk, then there's no real enjoyment in the sport. So every time I go down, every time I hit a wreck, every time I hit the sand, I'm very conscious of the consequences of bad decisions. And, it's just one of those things. So all's well, ends well. I had 2 great dives that afternoon. I did a couple of more dives on Sunday morning, and then I did the shark dive, the 3-tank shark dive on Monday, as I finished off another year of my life. and hopefully I'll get around to getting some of those videos done so you can see some of that as well. So anyway, thanks for sticking through this entire thing, and if you're interested in learning to dive, let me know. I know people. I got phone numbers and such. It's a blast. I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else. So, all right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you shortly.